So, does the American dream now live in an RV? Hi, guys. Welcome to the baseline. So, does it feel like the dream of owning a home keeps moving further away no matter how hard you work? And for more and more families all across the United States, that dream isn't just slipping out of reach, it's driving away literally on four wheels. Because here is the new reality. 500,000 Americans now live in RVs full time. 500,000. And it's not for freedom. It's not for retirement, but because the housing market has priced them out of roofs and into roads. So take a breath with me, pause just for a second. And remember when RVs used to mean freedom, like the open road, the sunset, retirees living their best life in Arizona. Today, that same RV is the symbol of a last resort. It's one step away from homelessness and one policy failure away from a total collapse. And you can feel where this is all going, right? Because this isn't a tiny home trend. This is the quiet face of a broken housing system where the cost of shelter has become so extreme that people are trading a mortgage for a motor. One woman in Oregon ran a successful daycare until a medical emergency wiped her savings out, right? She got evicted, bought a 175 square foot RV, and now bathes her kids in rivers when she can't afford a campground. And that's not van life, that's survival. There was another woman who sold her house in Kentucky to be closer to family, right? But by the time she looked again, prices had exploded. So instead of taking on a crushing mortgage in retirement, she ended up buying a $29,000 RV and now just pays $550 a month just to park it. And another example is a guy in Tennessee, right? He looked for apartments under $1,200 a month. He couldn't find a single one. So now he spent his savings on a used RV with a broken fridge and no shower. It's falling apart, but it's still cheaper than rent. Okay, so here's the part that made me just stop in my tracks for a moment, right? Because this is not a fringe movement. According to recent data, the number of Americans living full-time in RVs, vans, or boats has exploded by 41% since 2019. 41%, a third of them are raising children inside these vehicles, and most earn under $75,000 a year. So that's not adventure, that's a form of desperation. And the system knows it, right? Because here's what nobody really talks about. Even when prices fall, home builders stop building, right? And as soon as profits shrink, they pull back and the government steps in with support. So what's the translation of that? The same players who caused the mess gets bailouts to keep prices inflated. Now, you can see the pattern, right? Prices rise, families suffer, builders stop. Government saves, saves them at least, and then prices rise again. So it's like a monopoly game where the board keeps getting smaller and smaller, and the rent doubles in price. Now, some people say this, right? Well, we just need to build more homes. I mean, really? Because tell that to KB Homes, which just canceled 10,000 lots because their profits dipped. Or if you look into Lenar, whose average home prices dropped by 22% in less than 5 years, and they still decided to slow down. Because the real estate system only works when prices go up. The moment they start coming down, that's something else, right? Because everyone from banks to builders hits pause. And you and I, we end up paying the price. So let's flip this around. Let's say if you bought a home recently, You might be feeling this too, right? The cost of keeping your house is rising faster than the cost to actually buy it. Property taxes, insurance, maintenance, they've turned homeownership almost into a second job. And now your mortgage isn't a path to stability anymore. It's a treadmill you can't step off of. And for renters, it even gets worse, right? Because the average rent in America right now is $1,900 a month, while wages have barely budged. So it's like paying for a Netflix subscription, except every month they delete your favorite show and double the price. So pause for a moment, right? What happens when the only affordable homes are vehicles that weren't built to be long-standing homes in the very first place? Well, you get a new kind of inequality, right? Not between rich and poor, but between housed and hanging on. Because RVs break, they leak, they need repairs. They also need insurance and constant fuel. So campgrounds limit stays to 2 weeks. So if you can't pay, you got to move again. Now imagine raising families, raising kids that way. It's not off grid, it's off of hope, you know? And here's the irony to the whole thing. The government calls this a soft landing. But mortgage delinquencies are rising 15.3% of pending home sales, right? And they fell through July in 2025, the highest on record. Builder confidence, now that's been the lowest since 2012. I mean, we are living in a housing crash right now, just hidden behind some artificial support and political PR. It's like putting a fresh coat of paint on a house with termites. And the deeper you look, the more absurd it gets. Federal programs now extend FHA loans to 40 years. They're literally stretching the time itself to keep payments affordable. And on top of that, they're using crypto as collateral for mortgages. So they're counting rent payments as credit scores. I'm not sure how they're all playing that through. But it's all to keep a collapsing system on life support. And it's just amazing. In Jacksonville, Florida, a HUD-approved nonprofit started approving people for mortgages with no credit check, no down payment, and no mortgage insurance. Remember that way back in 2008? And they're basically saying, here, have a house, just promise to pay us later. And they brag the foreclosure rate is under 1%. Yeah, because everybody, or every time somebody defaults, they get bailed out again. And that's not stability. That's accounting gymnastics. So what do you guys think? Do I have this all right? Do I have it all wrong? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you guys struggling with your house? Your opinion matters to me. I read and reply to all the comments, and I look forward to hearing from you on the next episode of The Baseline. Okay, cheers, everybody.